Have you ever had a conversation with someone where you had to ask them to repeat what they just said? Did you have to ask them to repeat themselves more than one time? Let's face it, people hate repeating themselves. It's frustrating for both the speaker and the listener. When you can't understand what someone is saying, people will either ask you to repeat yourself or they'll simply switch off and stop listening. Some people clearly need better communication skills. So I ask you, how are your communication skills? In this video, I'll be teaching you tangible techniques to gain more clarity, confidence, and credibility every time you speak. Whether you're speaking English as a second language or you're a native English speaker, this training is for you. Stay tuned. Q&A Tuesday, all your voice questions answered. Hi, my name is 𝒂𝒗𝒆, founder of the Voice of Confidence TV. My passion is to help people to learn how to communicate with more power, confidence, and clarity, whether it's at work, at home, or on camera. So thank you so much for joining us today. Timothy Kugel, in his book, The Exceptional Presenter, stated, "People with strong, powerful voices exude confidence." I'm going to teach you 3 simple techniques today that you can practice so you too can exude confidence every time you speak. When you practice these specific techniques, you can walk into any meeting and exude confidence even if you don't really feel it. And this is not fake it till you make it. This is something different. Let's get to it. Number 1, vocal power. It all starts with the diaphragm and the abdominal muscles. If you don't use them correctly, you won't have enough power in your voice to be heard by the back of the room. Here is an example of me saying the same sentence twice. Same words, same content, but you tell me what you hear as the difference. You ready? I'm doing a speaking presentation here in Australia today. I'm doing a speaking presentation here in Australia today. One was in a mousy voice and the other was in a stronger voice. You can see what the difference that vocal power makes to your speaking presentation. In the second example, I was using vocal power, which I like to call engine on. And this is not about shouting or screaming. As a holistic voice coach, one of my jobs is to protect people's voices from harm. So I would never teach you to be vocally abusive or damage your voice under any circumstances. But you know, many people sign up to my programs not because they don't speak clearly enough, but sometimes it's because they simply lack the confidence to be heard and they're not brave enough to project their voice. Or perhaps they simply don't know how. So how do we get vocal power? When we breathe in, we bring air into the lower lungs using the diaphragm. Then with the help of the abdominal muscles, the air is pushed up the windpipe and moves our vocal folds into a motion. That motion is sound or speech. Now, many people get this wrong and they try to push the sound from their neck muscles instead of their respiratory muscles. This is not the way the voice works. And let's face it, it doesn't look good either. So if you do this, you're going to end up with a sore throat and a raspy tone. So let's start with an exercise to help you understand how the system really works properly. Step 1. Let's start with relaxing the muscles. Let's take a few deep breaths and allow your body to completely relax with air in and air out and not sound, but just relax. That will help you get oxygen into the body and help your mind and your body calm down and get ready for speaking. Take a big breath and out. Take a big breath and out. Let's try not to get carried away here. Stay focused. Now, I want to introduce you to the accelerator pedal. This is our ab muscle. Think of it like this. When we put gas in the car can move forward because it now has the right energy to power the vehicle. In the same way, when we're using air under pressure inside our system and we put our foot on the accelerator pedal to blow out the sound with a big ah, we make a really great sound. Our tummy muscle is our accelerator pedal. Ah, ah. Now let's do it together. Step 3. We're going to sustain that ah sound for as long as we can to really maximize the volume and minimize the airflow. You see, people will run out of air in just a few seconds sometimes, while other people can last as long as 10 or 20 seconds when they're speaking. It depends on how much airflow you use. And when you use too much airflow, you sound airy. So here's what I want you to do. Breathe in, then use the power of the belly muscle, the accelerator pedal, and speak or sing an ah sound as long as you can. And when you run out of air, sit down. I want you to take note of how many seconds you could hold that tone for. You can use the timer on your phone. This will help you keep track of how many seconds that you can hold the breath on a daily basis. Let's give it a go all together. Big breath in and holding the ah. Ready? When you finish, sit down. Now, if you sat down just after a few seconds, then you're using way too much air when you speak, and you won't be able to have enough volume to project to the back of the room. So the best way to learn to control the airflow is to practice this exercise daily with the timer on your phone so you can reach a higher number every single time you do it. Your body will eventually learn to adjust the airflow and use less air and more of a clear sound. A clear, strong sound is actually easy to hear and it sounds more confident. This exercise is proven to naturally help develop the power in your own voice, and that power and volume will command attention in the room wherever you're speaking. A great way to test your volume is to download a decibel meter on your phone and check the volume of your own voice. A normal conversation will show up around 50 to 60 decibels, but a projected voice for confident presenting will require you to speak at about 75 decibels. So have a little play with the app and have fun. Tip number 2, clarity. One of the most popular courses I have online is an accent reduction course for ESL students, English as a second language. I'm always so surprised though when there's so many native English speakers that need voice training too. Some people just don't use their voice correctly and they sound weak or mumbly or monotone when they speak. And some speakers simply speak too fast, so the clarity and articulation goes straight out the window. Clarity is important for everyone. And the simplest way to ascertain whether you have enough clarity in your speech is to record yourself having a conversation and notice how many word endings you can still clearly understand. Many speakers tend to swallow the ends of words. The listener then has to guess which word fits the sentence because they didn't quite catch it. So you know what that means? While they are trying to work out what you said, you already moved on to the next point. So they'll miss the next point as well because your audience is still busy trying to figure out what you said. They're still thinking. Here on your screen are some common words to look out for to make sure that you can clarify the ends of these words, to make sure that you can be clearly understood between the two words. Fad, fat. Rise, rice. Can, cab. When you clearly articulate the ends of each word, nothing will be misunderstood. The very best way to practice this is simply with numbers. Just use your phone number as a great way to start. How many times has somebody actually left you a voice message on your phone with a number that you couldn't understand? Clarity is so important. So speak out the numbers to practice and don't use shortcuts like 2259. If you're leaving a clear voicemail and you want to be called back, you need to say each number clearly and separately, 2259. That way, there will be no confusion. I suggest that you listen to your own voicemail and make sure that's clear as well. Tip number 3, sonic pictures. In my course, I like to teach people how to make an impact when they speak, and I call this sonic pictures. It's when you make a word sound like a word, which conjures up a visual in the listener's head, like this. Listen to this quote from Winston Churchill. I'm going to say it in 2 very different ways, and I want you to tell me which one works the best. You ready? There are 2 things more difficult than making an after-dinner speech: climbing a wall which is leaning towards you and kissing a girl who is leaning away from you. Did you understand that clearly? Let me say it again. There are 2 things that are more difficult than making an after-dinner speech: climbing a wall which is leaning towards you and kissing a girl who is leaning away from you. You can hear that the second time you really see the wall leaning towards you and you can really see the girl leaning away from you. It's because I used a few tools to help you visualize the message. That's why I call it sonic pictures. This is how it works. You simply stress or emphasize the most important words by slowing them down or changing the pitch. You can also add a strategic pause to help the listener really see and feel what you are saying. A simple way to describe it is this. Think about when you were back at school. Do you remember using a highlighter to mark specific passages in your books? You wanted to remember certain points, right? And have them jump out at you so you're ready for the next exam. Well, using these tricks in your speech patterns is like having a vocal highlighter. It makes certain things stand out and it makes the audience pay more attention. Remember, it's not what we say, it's how we say it. How we say something is far more important than the words you use. So if you want more clarity, more confidence, and more credibility when you speak, use these techniques that I've taught you today and you are well on your way to becoming a more confident public speaker. Let's do a quick recap. Number 1, vocal power. Switch the engine on when you speak and check your volume with a decibel meter. Number 2, clarity. To gain more clarity when you speak, record yourself as often as you can and check to make sure that you're ending every word with clarity. Number 3, sonic pictures. Use your vocal highlighter to make your message count so the important bits really stand out. Well, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Voice of Confidence TV. Please share this with anyone that might benefit from this training, and make sure you subscribe to my channel and press the notification bell so you don't miss the next video. I'm Elisa James, and I am so passionate about helping you become a more confident speaker. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Bye.